My name's Liz Winney.
Okay.
And I've been working at Yavapai College since 1984.
5 years before I was born.
5 years before you were born.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I know. 5 years before a lot of my students in my classes were born as well. And I moved here from California in 1975. My husband and I moved here. And at the time, he was in law enforcement in Anaheim, and I was working for the County of Orange juvenile probation. And we wanted to get out of California. We thought it was a little too crazy at the time. But looking back, those are the good old days.
Yeah.
So we moved up here, and I went to juvenile hall to apply for a position as a juvenile probation officer, and they only had one juvenile offender there.
Wow.
And I don't know how many they have now, but I know they have a lot of probation officers now. And what they told me is if they had a juvenile offender, they would send him down to a place in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's a whole industry, it seems
Yeah,
like.
there's just one. Wow.
I know. So that's how I ended up in Prescott. And since I couldn't get on as a probation officer, I went back to my secretarial skills and did legal secretary work. And that's how I got a position here on campus. I was a secretary. And at the time I was into bodybuilding, and I met one of the faculty members from Yavapai College who taught anatomy and physiology, and he just told me that there was a position opening at Yavapai. And so I said, "What's that? Where's that?" And I came over here and applied for the position and got it.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up here.
And what year did you come here?
1984.
84.
Mhm.
Okay. And so you've been working here for quite a while, so you've seen a big change.
Absolutely.
So,
Mhm.
so what are all the? Can you just list all the jobs and roles you had while being here?
Okay. I started as a secretary to the Dean of Finance and the Dean of Student Services. And that was Joe Birmingham and Dan Han. And I also worked for Dr. Boone, who was the registrar. And I did that, I guess, for 6 years. And after that, I went and continued with my education, finishing a bachelor's in business, and then I went and got my master's in higher education leadership. And from that position, I was able to go into student services. So that's how I ended up starting out as a juvenile probation officer in California and working in student services at Yavapai College.
And so is that where you currently are now?
That's where I currently am. One of my favorite roles that I had was to design the Student Ombudsman positions, and that's a neutral problem solver. And it was actually a project for my master's program. And when I finished it, the vice president who I was working for at the time liked it so well that they actually incorporated it here.
Wow.
And I was the first and last Student Ombudsman. I did that for 10 years and saw an average of 90 students a year, and I'm really proud of the work that was accomplished.
I bet, yeah.
I do mediation training with residence hall students, help students work through conflicts, whether it's with a faculty member or a roommate. And I felt that it was very, very valuable. And besides being educational for students, it's great for the institution because the student has someplace to go with their complaints instead of to the newspaper or to an attorney.
Yeah. That seems like it. And they don't have that?
No, I retired actually in 2004. And when I retired, at the time they decided not to continue with it. So I don't know, there's other avenues for pursuing problems that students are having. But I just wonder if the students are going to pursue them or the lessons that they're learning.
I personally live in dorms now, and I have had several issues with my roommate. And I think it would have been a great thing to have someone to go talk to, because they said, well, here's your RA, and she did nothing. And so we just kind of dealt with it and lived with it. But it would have been fantastic to have something to...
I know. I felt it was a great training tool for students, training for real life. And it was every faculty member I worked with would come and meet with a student and me, and they would work, the communication was opened.
Yeah.
Campus police would sit down with students, and I would tell them, you're learning how to work through problems that you're going to have on the outside of school.
Yeah.
And everybody was great. It was a great learning opportunity. But unfortunately, some institutions don't value something you can't measure. You can't measure problems that didn't come up.
Yeah.
Although in industry and a lot of agencies are mandated to have ombudsman because it's much better.
Yeah.
Like Toyota had I think a $30 million lawsuit, and after that they incorporated the ombuds position.
To
Jeez.
solve problems, yeah.
Exactly. So
Seems like a good thing. You know, if they're thinking about.
I don't
no.
know. Hasn't been discussed.
Have you seen any drastic changes within the college? I know the new buildings is a huge thing, but any.
Well, since I've been here, back in the late 80s, early 90s, there were some changes. Paul Walker came on board, and he incorporated a lot more vocational kinds of programs. They did strategic planning, strategic initiatives where they would look at programs over a few years and measure whether they were should be enhanced or should be discontinued, and they did discontinue a couple programs. Those kinds of things. But the major thing that I've seen is we've expanded so much, and it's because we live in the Southwest and our population's increasing rapidly. So the amount of programs that we have is continually expanding to meet the needs of the community. And the CTEC, although I haven't been over there yet because we're so busy in our office, I'd like to get over there, but I hear marvelous things about things that have been instituted by Dr. Horton. So more and more voc tech kinds of programs and real high-level general education programs as well. Our students get a marvelous education here.
Yeah.
I hear it. I hear it from students who come here and go to bigger institutions and then come back and say, when I was there, I could never meet with my instructor and we never got a chance to present. So
that was one of the main things that drew me here was, that there's such a great, I'm doing the nursing program, so that's a great, they have a great one, and it's 5 times cheaper than.
We do. We have a great reputation.
It's a really good college, I feel.
It is.
How about the students? Have you seen any major changes through the years?
Absolutely. When I first started here, I don't remember what our student population was, but they were mostly like rural, agricultural kinds of students coming in from the ranches, and very polite. I got used to be calling ma'am, be called ma'am. And then throughout the years, throughout the 80s and the 90s, you could see different students coming in and their clothing changed, their hair changed. And I'm glad they got away from those kind of jeans that were ripped that you could see through.
Yeah.
So they're getting back to, I think, more conservative kind of dressing. So, but I love the students here. I love the faculty. I love the staff. And that's why I'm here after being retired. I came back to work part-time.
Yeah.
Because I like the environment.
It's really neat that you really, love your job.
I do.
A lot of people.
I do.
I do.
I know.
Just go.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. And the people that I work with in student services are great. Faculty are great. And the students are just darling. I hate graduation, which is right around the corner. Starting to get little notes from students.
What's been your most challenging experience, you think, while being here?
I think my most challenging was when I was working for the administration during Paul Walker's era. There was a lot of dissatisfaction going on, both sides. There were some nasty things going on. We've weathered that. We've gotten through it, and we've survived it. And fortunately, a lot of things that he instituted, like this huge bond election, we're still seeing the great results of that. One of them is the Performing Arts Center, which is a beautiful, beautiful center. I actually had part in choosing the colors for that.
Oh, wow.
He said, what colors do you like? He asked everybody in the office, and we had our choice. So we chose teal, which was in at the time. So that was very challenging at the time. Another time that was very challenging was during 9/11 when we got attacked. That was unprecedented. We weren't quite sure what to do. So a lot of advisors went up to the snack bar area to chat with students and just to let them know that we're here. The campus was pretty desolate at the time. Students would come to class and then leave. It took probably about a month before it got feeling like a college campus again.
Did you guys have a lot of students that were really affected by it and really came and talked to you guys? Or
no, but they knew that we were there, and I I think some faculty or staff went down to the res halls and talked to them, but I think they just wanted reassurance that things were going to be okay again. And finally, things seem to be okay again, at least locally here. Yeah, but we were all in shock. It's like, what do you do when we get attacked? Well, I don't know. We've never done that before.
How was the town of Prescott? How did they react to that? Did things, I know it's a smaller town, so did things shut down for the day or anything?
Well, no, but I do remember driving to work and just seeing the people. People put American flags in their car, American flags in front of their house. And you could just see the look on their faces, that they were just sad and shocked and scared. You could see that. I remember seeing a construction worker in his truck, and he just looked very sad. So
you could definitely tell them.
Yeah, it was different. There was nothing like it before.
Yeah. To counteract that, what would you say your most rewarding or best experience has been?
I think the thing that gives me the greatest satisfaction is a project that I was working on with a team of people here, and it was called Operation Appreciation. And we got faculty and staff involved, and it was a way of honoring each other for being nice to each other. And so we created these cards, and you could mail them to somebody, thanks for helping me with whatever. And they would take part of the card down through registration. They were a big participant, and they would get a little bag of kisses. But it was nice because faculty and staff and students were all mixing together with that. And out of that came other kinds of projects. There was a flood over in the Verde. And so they're like, Liz, what are we going to do about the flood? I don't know. So we all got together and collected a bunch of money. And as soon as you create an opening, people like to jump in and just help. Yeah. So that was. And then the Evening of Recognition, which continues to today. And that's my greatest satisfaction. A few people were asked to create something to honor students academically. And so we created it, and it continues now. I think we just had our 10th Evening of Recognition.
Wow.
So that makes me feel good. And from that came recognizing staff and faculty contributions. So I would have to say that was my favorite thing. If that's a good word, favorite.
Those are all the questions I have. Is there anything else you would like to add? Or
this is going to be used for our 40th anniversary.
We're just working with the library to put together We're just collecting oral histories, and they're just going to go through, look at them, and then just take notes.
Gotcha. Yeah, probably little snippets.
Yeah.
Nope, I don't have any more questions.
All right.
Other than the fact that I'm old enough to be considered a historical figure.
No, we interviewed some younger people.
Okay, good.
Don't feel bad.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, I thank you very much.
You're welcome.